Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So I received a comment in my previous video that what if you don't have Bootstrap? How do you get this going, this situation here? So I understand that it's possible some of you may get confused as what's going on here. So what I would do is I'll leave this down here. Let's create our own tab section at the top here from scratch. That way we are on the same page. Then we can get rid of the Bootstrap version. Just in case for some reason Bootstrap changes in future, I don't want that to affect the code here. So we'll do this from scratch, and it's not as difficult as you think. So let's create our own tab system right at the top here. So I'm going to go to courses view page, and let's do this. So this is the edit section, right? And we are down here, and we have our title. And then we have this list element here, this list item down here. So what I'm going to do is, let me just do this here. I'm going to add a comment, an HTML comment here. Let's say tabs. Okay. And then end tabs right there. All right. So as you can see, this is an ordered list. And then we have list items, but we won't go this direction. Let's just use divs. Let's not suffer, because list items come with styles that I don't need here right now. So what I'll do is I'll just create a div and create several divs inside. So we have several buttons here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's create 5 of these babies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Let's add some styles here. I'll just add the styles inline so that maybe not, you know. Let's add a class instead and say tabs or tab holder. Maybe tabs holder. Yeah, one class there. Let's add a class here as well. We'll call this one my tab. Okay, great. Let's put some names in there. So we have intended learners, we have curriculum. So let's put those in there. So intended learners, curriculum. Where is this? Right there. And then promotions finally. Curriculum. Course landing page, and then finally promotions. And then promotions. Wait, why did I think I had 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Was it 4 tabs? 1, 2, 3, 4. These course messages. Okay, where are we? Course messages. Very cool. All right, back here. And there we go. Great. Nice. So let's see what we have so far. Okay, so this is what we have. Doesn't look as fancy as this, but let's add some styles, shall we? Let's make it go all the way left and right like we have these guys here. So I'm going to add some styling. So there's tabs holder and there's my tab. So the first thing we will do is add some flexbox. So let's do style like this. Okay, and then we're going to say tabs holder like that. That's our class. And then we just say display flex. Okay, just that alone will move everything in flex mode. So as you can see here, they are now like this, but we need them to space out like so. First, let's put a margin around this guy. I would say margin top and bottom. Margin top. Let's put 10 pixels. Margin bottom. Let's do exactly the same thing. Okay, that way we have some space around this thing, but we need space between these guys. Okay, so what I would do now is actually we can say justify content. Let's center it. Okay, and also put text align center. Let's see that. Okay, good. So yes, but these guys need to share this space equally. So we'll do dot tab. Is it my tab? What's the, yeah, it's my tab. So my tab for each one of those buttons, and I'm going to say flex 1. That way they share the space equally. So there we go. So they share the space with equal measure. Why for some reason doesn't go all the way here? So let's maybe we add a margin. I don't know. Oh, let's put a break tag maybe. Let me just try break tag, maybe 2. Just let's see what's going on here. Okay, that's much better. So maybe we could have done with 1 break tag. Oh no, I've opened something else. Okie dokie. And there we go. So as you can see, we are almost there. Now the only difference is when one of these guys is active. Oh, actually, before we even go to active, now you can copy these styles here. We can add a border bottom. So here, let's add border bottom, and this one is should be a gray color. So we have a solid line. Let's make it 2 pixels, and let's make it gray. Okay, that way we have, I'm trying to recreate this line down here, and there we go. Look at that, look at that. Now that gray is a little too strong. Let's add also let's say padding bottom. Yes, let's add maybe 10 pixels. Now this gray is too much, so let's reduce it by putting a gray of our own that's slightly close to light. Okay, maybe not too much. Let's try CCC as we got close to F. Anyway, let's leave it there. Let's not get too pedantic. Okay, so now I want, when one of these is active, it has this nice blue color. Okay, so let me just steal the color here from here. I'm going to copy that color. You will see it when I type it there. So we're going to have one active. Now Bootstrap already has an active class, so let's make our own code current, or let's say, yeah, why not, let's just say active-tab. Okay, so this one will have a color of this, and then it will have, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go to this one, and it's the first one, so I'll put that active tab class on it like so. So let's refresh, and there we go. Very nice. And let's add more to that active tab. Let's put a border bottom. I have trouble with this word. Border bottom, and then put that there. That way it's also blue. Okay, so as you can see now, I have recreated exactly what Bootstrap was giving us here, right? Pretty much. And let's see, these have a hand over them, so we can always do that by just saying my tab cursor pointer. Okay, so now we have a pointer on these, but when we hover on these guys, they turn blue, and we don't have that on this. So very easy peasy thing to add. We're just going to duplicate the my tab, and then just put full colon hover, and then just leave the color setting there, which is this one. Everything else goes. That's all we change. It's the color. And then my tab, since it's here, we can make the transition smoother by putting transition. So here it's selected like that, but let's not put transitions. Here it's a bit softer, but no big deal. Okay, but if I click, it doesn't do anything because there's no code for that. Here when I click, it shows me a different thingy down there, which is all good. So let's make that part happen with our own code. So what I'll do is go, yeah, see, this is much cleaner than this, right? Anyway, I want to create an ID for each one of these buttons here. Okay, so what I'll do is, of course, I want to copy this part, the on-click listener. We need that part for the set tab. But wait, let's add an ID first. So here we have we want to add an ID to each div to identify it. So I'll put ID. Now you don't need to use an ID. You can use a class name, but why not? So I'll say intended learners here. Here I'll put curriculum. And here I will put course landing page. Course landing page. And this one I'll put promotions. And this one I will put course messages. So at least now I can identify which of these was clicked. But I still need to do the set tab here. So I'll copy this and paste it on all of these. Bam. Now we're getting the attribute called ID. So we can just change this to ID. But to simplify things, you know, we don't need to say get attribute because it's the ID. ID is always there most of the time anyway. We can just say this.id. It will still work the same way, like that. Because this is not a custom attribute, so this is fine. This.id, right? But at the same time, I want to capture the event, so I will just do .event, comma event, sorry. So when I say set tab, when I run this, when someone clicks on this, we have to run the function called set tab, and then we send in the ID of the current tab, and then we also send the event. I'm sending the event because I want to be able to capture all the divs that are in here, and I can do that by summoning the parent of this clicked item and then telling it to grab all the divs from here, and then I can do something with it. Anyway, I actually don't need to capture the event. The event is contains too much information. Let's capture this instead. So this just describes this div itself, this element. So this will contain the div. I think that's enough, because if I can get the div and say get the parent and get the children, then I can get this. Okay, so far so good, but nothing will work still. Let's go to the set tab function and mute everything that's there for now. So here's the set tab function, and all I'm going to do is say return at this point so that nothing runs. When we get to return, the function just exits. The rest of this does not run. Okay, so if I go back now, refresh, nothing really has changed so far. If I click, nothing works. These guys don't work anymore because we are not setting the tab as well. Or was this supposed to work? Anyway, this doesn't matter. We'll delete this anyway in the end. So what I want now is to have just to be able to move those tabs around. So what I will do is we are getting the tab name, which is in form of the ID, and then we also get the element, which was sent using this, right? So this is the div that was clicked. This is the ID of that div. Okay, so maybe we can be more descriptive by saying div, and then here we'll put div ID. But the problem is we are using tab name already down here, so maybe not to disturb that. Let's just name that div. So what I want to do is just say div.classlist.add, and then what class list do I want to add? I want to add the class named active tab. Simple and straightforward, right? So if I refresh now, you see if I click on this, it becomes active. But as you can see, the problem, everyone is active. So what I need to do first is delete the activeness of the other ones then before I activate one of them. So to do that, I will need to grab all the kids of this. Let's go up here. Like I had mentioned before, we can grab all. I need to grab all these divs and remove any active classes here, and then add the active class to the one that was clicked. So I can do that by grabbing. I already have this div. I can just tell it to get the parent and get the kids of the parent and go through those guys and then remove whatever I want to remove. So to do that is pretty simple. I'm going to say div.parent node, which is the parent div that contains all that, and that parent node has kids, which are called children. Okay, so what we'll do is grab this and put that inside a for loop. So, okay, wait. Let me just say var children is equal to that, right? Okay, so these are the kids. We've grabbed the kids. Now let's do a for loop and we'll go through the children, right? And in those we can say dot class list dot remove any active classes. So if any of them had, if it didn't have a class, active class, that's fine, nothing will happen. If it did, it will be removed. Then we add to the one that we want. So refresh and let's see if that works. And as you can see now, we are changing. Is this selectable? This is not selectable, but this one is. Look at that. This one isn't. So if you don't want that problem of selecting, you can go to the tab here and just say user select none. That way the text in there is not selectable. Let's see. Yep, that has fixed the problem. Okay, but you can see here things are working. The only thing we're missing is the divs at the bottom here that should change when we click a specific button. So we'll do exactly the same thing in the same way, really. I'm going to go here. These are tabs and tabs. Here, let's instead of tabs here, we'll call these ones div tabs, like so. Okay. So here, of course, I'll create a main div and then create divs, which are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just put numbers in here so we can identify which one is which. Okay, 2 and 1. Good. Now let's look at our classes here. Active tab. Okay. Let's do dot hide. That's all I want here. And this one we'll put display none. Okay, so that class hides whatever has that thingy here. So what we'll do now is I will grab, let me put classes. These ones div tabs, right? We just call div tab as the class name, and then what else? We'll put the hide class so that all of them are hidden except the first one. Okay, simple and straightforward. Div tab. Now we are sending the IDs of these guys, right? So in the same way, I want us to give an ID to these guys here so we can identify them. ID, but like I said, you can use class names. You don't need to use IDs. This one is intended learners, but at the end I'll put dash div like so. That way I know we don't have two IDs that are similar, that are exactly the same. Otherwise we won't be able to grab what we want to grab. So the second one is curriculum, of course, and I'll put dash div at the end. The third one is a course landing page, and I'll put dash div at the end. Same with this one. This one is for promotions, and promotions, not tab but div. And the last one is course messages, and I'll put dash div at the end. Okay, that way we can identify them by name. So if I grab one of these and get the kids, grab the parent, and then I can get the kids, and then I can remove the hide or add hide to all of them. So I hide all of them and then just remove the hide from the one that I want to display. So by default, this one doesn't have the hide class, just like this one isn't hidden. So it's going to naturally show that one. So as you can see, this one has this, but if I click here, nothing changes on the div itself. I'm not getting new content at all. But we can fix that, yeah? No problem. So what I'll do is exactly what we did here. I'm just going to duplicate this like so. And the children this time are not from the div here, no. We want to grab the... wait a second. We want to grab the ID, the tab name. Now, if we get the tab name, and then to it we add -div, like this. This means we have grabbed the one of these, right? So let's say this ID was sent intended learners. If we add -div at the end, then we are grabbing this item, right? So we grab that and then grab the parent, and then it has kids, then we can grab that. So let's do that in that systematic manner. So I'm just going to say var div tabs. That's what I'll call them. I'll put a capital there so it looks like two words. And I'm going to say document.query selector. And in this case, I'm looking for an ID. So I'll put a hash. And because tab name is a variable, I'll concatenate it like that. Okay, let's do this. So I've grabbed just the single div tab that was clicked, right? That's the one that was clicked. And what I'll do with it is do query selector do parent node, sorry. So I grab the parent and then I'll grab the kids from that parent. Okay, good, the immediate kids. So div tabs is now children. So instead of this, I'll just go to children like that. So we already have this. Let's do that. Now, children is already set here, so we don't need to put var here. We are just setting it to something new. And then we'll loop through those kids as well. And just remove instead of removing, we're adding the hide class. So let's add that hide class. So all of them are hidden. And then finally, we grab the one that was clicked, which is inside this. We do it like that. Let me just repeat this here. So we grab the one that was clicked and say class list dot remove hide. Okay, great. So hopefully you understand what's going on here. Let's see it in action. As you can see, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the divs are interchanging as I click the tab. So this is how you can do it without Bootstrap. We have a tabbing system here of our own. We are back to square one where we started before this video, but the only difference is we've gotten rid of Bootstrap. So in this case, what I can do now is I can get rid of this bordered, tabbed, justified. So get rid of all this. We don't need it really anymore because we are doing this without it. But there's this something changed on input, so we don't need to forget that. Let me copy this and put it on this one instead. Okay, on input, something changed. Okay, there we are. Back to square one. So this one is this one. So I'm just going to get rid of this div out and get rid of these tabs here out. Okay, now we have our very own tabs. So hopefully this answers the question of what do we do if there is no Bootstrap? How do we get this running the same way? All right, so now that we are back to this, we can continue in the next video.